What's up guys, I'm Andy from 1A Auto. In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace this radiator on this 2012 Ford Escape. If you need this part or other parts for your vehicle, click the link in the description and head over to 1aauto.com. We're going to open the hood, just pulling that lever right there. There's a hood release over here. Slide it to the left and grab the prop rod. Put that in position there. Take a 10mm socket. We're going to take these two bolts out on top, right here. Take this bolt out, and then same on this side. Use the same 10mm socket and ratchet. I'm going to raise and support the vehicle. I'm using a 2-post lift. If you're doing this at your house, you can use a jack and jack stands. I want to take some of these push clips off. There's one missing right here. They're there. I'm just going to use this trim tool. We sell this at 1aauto.com. Just grab the center part of the clip, pry it out like that, and then get behind the clip, pull it out. Do that to the other ones. I'm just pulling the clips out of right here. From underneath here, I'm going to use a 10mm socket and a ratchet. Take these bolts out. Take that bolt out. Take these two out. And remove this bolt as well. To make it easier, I'm going to remove this whole piece. It's not completely necessary, but it will be a lot easier. So I'll remove this bolt as well. Then there's a push clip on the back side over here. It would be easier if you had the tire off to see this stuff, but it's not impossible to do with the tire on. Just grab the trim tool, pull this clip out. Now from underneath on the front, there's some bolts right here. There's one here and one here. And we are gonna do the same on the other side. So we use the same 10mm socket, and I'll use an extension and a ratchet. Once that's out, I can grab this panel, slide it down. So that I can pull this inner fender well down a little more, I'm just gonna take this Phillips head screw out right here. Pull that out. Just pull this push clip out as well. The little push tab in here, it's there. If the bumper's never been removed, it's probably still there. If it has been removed, it may not be there because it's not something you would put back in. So I'm just taking a straight blade screwdriver. Just want to push it up. And see, right there. Pull that out. When that's out, then you can grab the bumper and just pull it out. Like that, and just release it just like that, and then we'll do the same procedure for the other side. All right, these fog lights are still connected. We want to disconnect these. Just push down on the tab, slide it out. Do the same for the other side, just like that. Underneath here, there's a push pin. Just use the trim tool. That out. Be careful, that was the only thing left holding the bumper on. And this side should have one, but it doesn't. So now I'm going to grab the bumper, make sure both sides are released. And just slide it off. All right, I'm just going to use a trim tool, get underneath these push retainers, pull these up. Slide this panel out of the way. To get this handle out of my way, I'm just going to take this bolt out and use a 10mm socket and a ratchet. that off. Now we want to pull these little plastic shields out of the way. You can take a trim tool, just get underneath here, lift up. There's a little nub that goes into that slot right there. You can just slide this out of the way like that. Same on this side. Slide that out of the way. I'm going to use an 8mm socket and a ratchet, and I'm going to take these two bolts off, and then same on the other side, those two on that bracket. Take that bracket off. All right, I just want to pull on the radiator assembly out a little bit. Just take a trim tool. I'm going to slide this lock off. This retainer that's holding this wire on right here. Slide that out. Just like that. And we can disconnect the connector on the coolant fan. So to disconnect this connector, you just push down on this tab. Push down on that tab and it will slide right out. I'm going to do the same on this connector down here. It's a little tab. So you push down right here and slide the connector out. Just like that. Then I'm going to remove this wire retainer right there. Then I'm going to take these two bolts out. There's one right here and one on the other side of the fan. I'll use an 8mm socket and a ratchet. This one I'm just going to use an extension, and it's a little bit harder to get to because of the upper coolant radiator hose. Pull that one off. All right, I'm just going to try to slide this forward a little bit. Grab the coolant fan. You have to lift up on the coolant fan. There is a slot on the bottom that's connected to the radiator. There's a hose on the bottom of the radiator that's attached to the fan right here. Just grab the hose, slide it out. There we go. If you just twist it a little bit, then you can get past right there. So you just have to angle this a certain way just to get it past this stud right here. Just like that. It's a little bit tricky, but it does come out. There we go. All right, so there's a drain at the base of the radiator on the passenger side. I'm going to use a 19mm socket and a ratchet. Make sure you have a drain bucket underneath it. Oh, there it goes. Now I'm going to take the radiator cap off. Well, this is actually the coolant reservoir cap off. Take that off and that should open up. Now it'll drain a lot better. Make sure you don't do this when the engine's hot. You want to make sure the engine's cold while you're doing this, or you could get hurt. You could have hot coolant splashing on you, which is bad. You might want to have a couple buckets because sometimes the coolant will go through the frame and end up coming out on the opposite side. I'm going to use this hose clamp tool. We actually sell this at 1aauto.com. Squeeze the hose clamp, just like that, and it locks in place. You can slide the hose clamp off. Well, sometimes it sticks to the hose. Just gonna take this pick tool, get underneath here, slide it around. Just grab the hose. Oh, and pull it off. Now I'm just going to release the tool. Push that. Release the hose clamp. Right, now I'm going to take this hose clamp off. I'm just going to use a pair of pliers on this one. Get it like that, squeeze it. Actually, I moved it now, so I could use the other tool. But, right, just use the pliers, squeeze it, take the hose clamp off. Now I'm going to take a pick tool and just slide this off. You could use a screwdriver. Grab the hose, just wiggle it off. Now on the driver's side, I'm going to take these two hoses off. This hose clamp removal tool actually comes in handy right here because it's hard to get to. So try to get this hose off here. Squeeze that clamp. I can wiggle the hose off just like that. And I can access this lower radiator hose. Squeeze it. Grab the hose, twist it back and forth, and pull it off. Now I'm going to take these two bolts out on the front. These hold the condenser to the radiator. I'm going to use a 10mm socket and a ratchet. Now I'm going to grab the condenser. Just slide the condenser up. There's these clips down below holding it in against the radiator. Pull those clips out and forward, and then take the radiator. You can slide the radiator back a little bit. Just grab the radiator and pull it out. Comes right up. Here's the old radiator. Here's the new radiator from 1aauto.com. If you can see, all the hoses mounting locations are in the same spot. They come with caps just for shipping. Pull the caps off. The upper radiator hose position. It comes with the J-nuts that go in these two positions. And there's two on the front as well. So you can put those on, which is nice. It has the same clips for the coolant fans and the same on the front for the condenser. Get yours at 1aauto.com and you can do it yourself. Okay, I'm just gonna cut these off. Take these J-nuts. One's gonna go in like this. Make sure you put it on the proper way. You don't wanna put it on this way, that's upside down. Flip over. It's supposed to be like that. And slide it in. And flip the radiator over. There's two more on this side. It's gonna go right here. And then one's gonna go over here. And we're gonna take these out. Could actually transfer these over to the new one. Or you can actually install these in the car and then the radiator can just push through those. Just gonna take a trim tool. We can take these covers off the old radiator. Slide these push pins out. Take that off. We can transfer. Put it on the new one. And put the push clips through. Oops. Then do the same with the other side. new radiator. Slide it in. Be careful not to hit anything. And just move the lower radiator hose out of the way. All right, we want to attach the front condenser first. Let's try to lift up on the condenser. So make sure this tab goes in right here first on both sides. One there and also one over here. Right there. Once that's lined up, then we can push down on the condenser. Get that lined up. There we go. All right, now we can install these bolts right here and right here. I'll tighten them down with a 10mm socket and a ratchet. Just snug that up. All right, now we're going to attach this lower radiator hose. I already have the hose clamp tool on there. Slide this on. Then try to position the clamp tool kind of where it was before. And then loosen up the tool. Then we're going to take this hose, slide this on. And release the tool. That's good. All right, at this point, we're gonna put this upper radiator hose on. We're doing this now before we put the fans on, although if you're doing this at home, you're gonna wanna put the fans on first because it'd be a little bit easier. We're only doing this the hard way because we wanna show how people can remove the fans without disconnecting the upper radiator hose. Now squeeze this clamp, get it in position, and let it go. And same with this hose. And if any of these hose clamps seem weak, it's a good idea to replace them. Take the coolant fans, slide this in position. Actually, just going to slide this way. Okay, so that's in the right area over there. There we go. And then watch this lower radiator hose down here, the little one. You're going to want to make sure you don't crush that. So this is obviously a lot easier if you have that upper radiator hose off, but it's not impossible to get it on without taking that off. Now take these bolts, get this one started. Then before I tighten that down, I'm going to get the other one started as well. Right here. All right, now I can snug that side up, snug up the other side. All right, now we're gonna hook the wires up. Don't forget to hook the wires up on the fans, that would be bad. And then push the wire retainer back in. Then we'll do the same with this fan. So before we put the upper mounts on, make sure those feet are in position where the lower radiator is on that side and the other side. Now install these brackets, get this lined up. Put the other one on. Take these bolts. I'm gonna get them all started and then we'll tighten them up. Now I'll use a 8mm socket and a ratchet. Tighten these down, just snug. I'm gonna slide this cover in position. Push these push pins in, right there and right there. Now I'm gonna put this lever on. Use a 10mm socket and a ratchet and tighten this up. Just take these plastic shields that go right there and right here. Take the bumper, just gonna slide it in position. You could use a partner to help you. Get this side lined up. Push it in. And that little tab we pulled out, we're not gonna be able to get it back in. So, but it's okay, it's gonna stay secure. Then we'll do the same for the other side. This is one of those pins. But after you take this off, you can't really get that back in. And that's secure. We're gonna install push pins in here. Just get these lined up. One there and then also one over here. All right, we're gonna take this panel, slide this in position. It's gonna go, the back part's gonna go over the axle. And this part is gonna slide up here. I'll take the bolt, I'm gonna stick it in my socket with an extension. The same with the other ones. Get this push pin pushed in on the back. Get these two bolts started. Once I have all those bolts started, I can go back with a ratchet and a 10mm socket and extension and snug these all up. Take the fog light, we want to connect the fog light connector. Just line it up and lock it in place. And do the same for the other side. Then we're going to put these push pins in on this side. Here, there was one missing here, so I'll put a new one in right there. Put a push pin right here. Phillips head screw right here. Just use a Phillips head screwdriver. And snug it up. There's another push pin right under here. And now I'm going to do the same procedure for the other side. I'll take these two bolts up top. One goes here, one goes on the other side here. Get those started. Take a 10mm socket and a ratchet and snug them up. Now we added the coolant. You want to make sure you use the appropriate coolant for the vehicle. We used a universal coolant, which works with any type of coolant. That's why it's a different color. You want to use a 50-50 mix based on the vehicle. Now we added the coolant a little bit above the fill line, and at this point we're going to start the engine, let it run for about 10 minutes. We're going to constantly monitor the level, and also we just turn the heat on a little bit just so that we can see if we have heat. If we don't have heat, then there's probably not enough coolant in the system. There's an air bubble in there, so you need to eliminate that. So just run the vehicle, keep checking, monitoring the coolant. Then after about 10 minutes, we're gonna shut the vehicle off, put the cap on, let it sit, let it cool down, double check the level, and then take it for a road test. And if it's all set, you should be good to go.
Thanks for watching. If you want the parts to do it yourself, Check out oneauto.com, the place for DIY auto repair.